welcome to the Community Preservation Committee meeting being held at the City Council Hearing Room, One Government Center, Fall River. It's September 18th, 6 o'clock. You can watch the meeting through Fall River Cable TV, Channel 18, Government Television, Facebook, live stream. Pursuant to the open meeting laws, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit this meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present, are deemed acknowledged and permissible. We'll start with roll call to my left.
Joanne Bentley, present.
Alexander Silva, present.
John Brandt.
Rick Mancini, present.
Then on Zoom, Chris?
Kristen Cantara Olivera attending by Zoom.
Okay. And we're missing a member from City Planning, Mayor appointee, and a City Council appointee. Do we have any citizen input? And Victor Farris from the Park Department is not here. All right. Seeing no citizen input? Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of August 21st annual meeting?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the meeting, the annual meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion
You have to
passed.
do a roll call vote, John.
Oh, the roll call vote, okay.
Joanne Bentley, yes.
Alexander Silva, yes.
John Brandt, yes?
Rick Mancini, yes.
Kristen Cantara Olivera, yes.
Okay, can I have a motion for approval of minutes from August 21st, 2020?
I didn't finish them. I had technical problems, so I have to finish them and get them
Okay.
for the next meeting.
Okay,
So
so-
I'll make a motion to table the regular meeting minutes of August 21st till the next scheduled meeting.
All righty. A second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Joanne Bentley, yes.
Alexander Silva, yes.
John Brandt, yes?
Rick Mancini, yes.
Okay.
Kristen Cantara Olivera, yes.
All right, next on the agenda is extension for Form Bs. They're approaching their 2-year mark on the extension, and we're just starting to get that project rolling. The planning board called me, and he was a little under the weather, so I didn't think there was a problem. If we do have any questions, Rick Mancini is heading that end up. So if you wanted to ask any questions, we could refer to him, if there's anything we want to. Do you want to give a little?
A little rundown?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just on
All
what the
right,
project is for the
very,
public.
very, very quickly, the project was undertaken, Al Lima was going to do that along with Bill Kenny, and Al passed away, Bill Kenny retired, and the project was laying dormant, and what I did is I got together with Michael Barcia in the bioreserve area, because there's quite a bit of this Form B process that needs to be done there. So far, we've located on our own, without utilizing a company, in the bioreserve area, 97 historic sites. And then in addition to that, Roger Williams University, the Professor Stiles, has volunteered 11 of our students to do Form Bs on 22 pieces of property in the Steep Brook area. So far, it's been all volunteering, but we now have to get into more depth, and that's going to require that we run out an RFP to gather some more in-depth information and get some professional firm in here to help us. But that's where we are now. It's moving along very well. It just needs to get extended so that we can put an RFP out, and that's where the planning board is handling the dollars here, and they're going to put the RFP out within the next couple of weeks. There's a meeting coming up on Wednesday to discuss that further.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. Motion to extend for 2 years?
I'll make the motion to extend the grant for 2 years.
I don't know if I can
Second?
second that. Ann might have to do that.
I'll second that.
Okay. Roll call vote?
Joanne Bentley, yes.
Alexander Alexander Silva, yes.
John Brandt, yes.
And Rick Mancini, yes.
Chris?
Kristen Cantara Oliveri, yes.
Alrighty. Moving on to the next on the agenda is the Historical Society, additional emergency funding. Come up, Mike. Just make sure you state your name and address for the record.
Michael Muntins, 795 Rock Street, Fall River.
And Michael Keane, Civitex Architects, in Fall River.
So the Historical Society is currently undergoing a major grant-funded infrastructure project, which is the largest project in our history, our 102-year history. And this is the culmination of a three-phase project. So it started with a master preservation plan and site survey. And we used that to prioritize work that needed to be done in the building, infrastructure work. The second phase was the MEP design for an HVAC system. Both of these were funded privately through a private operating foundation. We took that information and then went back to that same private operating foundation called the Manton Foundation for the funding for the HVAC installation. And that grant was slightly in excess of $1.4 million. It was a major grant, certainly the largest in the history of the Historical Society. Unfortunately, we've recently been alerted that the electrical system on site, which is a single-phase system, will not support the new HVAC system. We were not made aware of this at the beginning of the project. So National Grid has alerted us to the fact that we need to bring in a three-phase system, which is going to be very involved. Under normal circumstances, the Historical Society would seek grant funding elsewhere. We're currently not able to do that because we are first off closed to the public through spring of 2024 in order to implement the HVAC system. And our normal donors are all contributing to other projects, namely infrastructure projects in the building, some of which are ongoing, some of which have been completed. For example, a new gallery that was funded by Douglas Hills Borden Jr. That was a $350,000 gift. And of course, they are also giving us unrestricted operating support to keep the museum open. Because we're closed, our ability to earn income in-house is of course hampered because the facility is completely closed, the collection is in storage. So we're faced with having to install this new system and simply do not have the funds to do it. So we're obviously here to request funding, emergency funding for the installation of this new system. And of course, we've submitted the estimates. We'd be happy to answer any questions additionally, of course.
Now, on the funds you received, what was the total amount
The funds that we've received thus far,
to do all your, yeah?
1.4 million, slightly over 1.4 million for the actual HVAC installation. In addition to that, we also were funded for a master plan and site survey, and then also funded for the design, and that totaled slightly over 100,000. And then there are several other projects ongoing. Although I can't announce the source, we recently were awarded 100,000 to do 2 new exhibits over at the Historical Society as well. So going forward, there are a lot of projects and a lot of outside funding coming into the Historical Society, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, after COVID, I never thought we'd be in the position we currently are, getting all of these projects done. But when we were alerted about the electrical system, it sort of took the wind out of our sails because we simply do not have the funds available to implement it. But of course, we have to do it in times of the essence because, we're fast approaching fall, and the system has to be brought in from the corner of Rock and Walnut Streets.
With the church is at the corner. So.
The vault, the nearest vault that contains 3-phase is on that corner, so it has to be brought up Rock Street into the Historical Society's grounds, and of course, all of this has to happen fairly quickly, so.
Does the board have any questions?
No, the only thing I would ask is, no one was aware that it was 3-phase AC equipment?
No, unfortunately, at the beginning, the service was gonna run in from the Maple Street area which is our current system, that's single-phase power. There are 3 10-ton condensers to power the system, and we were not told at the beginning that it was necessary to run in a new electrical system. So we went into this project thinking that we were fully prepared for what we needed to operate the system, and then found out after the fact that we were not, so.
Because you could have included this in your previous grant, right?
We would have requested it, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's a shame.
But I do not have the ability to go back,
Yeah.
so.
Previous grant wasn't for the HVAC though, unless.
No,
No,
previous
no.
ours, that's the grant he got for the
Yes.
1.4. Because you're waiting for.
Funding that we have that's being held for the roof projects, penetrations for the HVAC system have to be made through the roof. But of course, it was foolish to put a new roof on the building and then penetrate it. So they're just now getting ready to
Right.
to make those penetrations, so.
They're getting ready to put the stacks in at the roof, so, we'll know exactly where those locations are, so.
Looking for?
So the,
236?
the request
Right.
is $236,374.29. However, that includes a contingency of $50,000 in case any anomalies are encountered. For example, when they are cutting the trenches in order to, when they have to excavate to bring that system in, they may hit ledge.
Yeah.
And there was also a building that was torn down on the site that we have to put this system into. The pads are gonna be put behind the structure that was next door to the Historical Society to the south. So, although the request is for $236,374.29, $50,000 of that may not be needed. It would be returned, of course, or not accessed, but we just do not know what they may hit when they're doing the installation. The other 3 numbers, National Grid, Hannon Electric, and Century Paving, we know are actual numbers. Those total $186,374.29. And then if we add the $50,000 to that, is the full $236,000.
I have a question. When would you be ready to start this work?
Well, this work has to start very quickly.
Because can't we not open the streets after a certain date?
Exactly.
Right, isn't it like November or something
Exactly,
like that?
exactly.
right?
It's
Yeah.
very fast approaching.
That's what I thought.
So fortunately, the HVAC, it just will not be powered. And because of the timeline, obviously, as you said, we cannot open the streets after a certain date. This has to move really very quickly, so,
And everybody's lined up to start
yes.
right away?
Yeah, the contractor's ready to go, you know,
They just,
as soon as get funding for it.
and this is not redoing any work. This is work, it just wasn't added to start with.
It was not added, exactly. It was not included in the original grant because we were not made aware that the current system was not going to support, or the current service was not going to support the system.
So it's not like you're paying for something twice. You haven't
No.
paid for it
Right.
at all.
We have not paid for it at all. The other good thing about this, if there's a bright side, is that going forward, any additional work done on site grades, of course, the difficult part is securing the funding to get that work done. And believe me, if I could go back to the original donor, we would, but because of what they funded and the level they funded at, we need to also show some local support, so, yeah.
So we have a design for it, it's not us, it's the electrical engineer working with the contractor and the utility company, and also the subcontractors have been very proactive, especially the contractors and the subs. And they've been great working with you.
They have.
And
They
the
have.
whole process, so, I think they're just ready to go.
Yeah, it's a massive undertaking. The entire building, we have contractors working on all 4 levels. The entire collection is packed. The building is, it's astounding what's going on in that building. The wonderful thing about this, of course, is long-term for collections preservation, and of course, the structure itself is an artifact, so for the preservation of the structure, HVAC is integral, but it's a very involved process, and as I said, the largest infrastructure project and the largest grant in the Historical Society's history. So,
No, it's just, no further.
No further
It's
questions?
just too bad your
My
electrical
understanding is this
engineering
is-
firm didn't realize 10 ton is No, those are generally not single-phase
Exactly.
items. That
Yeah.
should have been an automatic red flag,
One would think.
Yeah.
one would think, yeah. Once you
Yeah.
get above 5 ton, you start going into three-phase equipment.
Right.
What were you gonna say, Alex?
So my understanding is this will have to be an emergency application, just expedited through the process, so you'll still have to submit the standard form, application to us. I didn't see it, I don't think, but,
But we submitted a cover letter
okay,
and also all the estimates.
okay.
Yeah.
This is my first emergency application, so I'd look to some of the more longstanding board
This
members.
is
but
what we
for-
normally get for emergencies. We haven't had many of them, but
So for the library, was it the standard application then?
nope, just the.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
because we already approved the project, it just happened to be a little more. Yeah,
because we haven't approved this project, is my point.
no, this is just an emergency to have the project continue, so it comes before us. We normally don't do an application for it because we're not taking it the whole term.
Okay, I didn't know if it was like an expedited process or this was the.
No.
Do you know off the top of your head how much funds we have on hand?
I'm not quite sure because they didn't answer back, but I think we have it in there to cover. Sandy, do you have a?
I have no idea.
We normally have a sufficient amount left over, so we would have to, if we did make a vote on it, it would be determined by the amount that we have in reserve.
Sure.
So, I'm pretty sure we have it, but communication with new, staff and the.
Understood.
We didn't get our
Financial
financial review last
is-
meeting.
It should be well over it, but I don't
If-
wanna bite me when if it's
Sure.
not,
Of course.
If that were the case and we weren't able to fund that amount of money, and we funded a portion of that, would that halt your project?
Well, we have to secure funding for the entire project, so we would gladly accept anything that the CPC could provide, and then we would have to try to find additional funding elsewhere before the project can commence.
You have no money in your grant funds?
So,
You have, well, I guess what I'm
we
looking for
currently have
is-
nothing available in grant funding that can cover any of this project.
Mhm.
And we do not have it in the Historical Society's reserves because we're operating bare bones because the museum is currently closed.
You know, if somebody wanted to make a motion to fund emergency, request for what is that? $236,374 for electrical work and paving construction. Someone wants to make that motion.
Well, we'll make the motion, but contingent, I'll make that motion that we support the $236,374.29 for National Grid, the electrical contractor, the paving, with the contingency that we have that money. If not, then we're going to have to authorize a reduced amount.
Well,
That would be
my recollection is we did have enough in
Yeah.
at least the undesignated funds, but also we have the pool for the upcoming fiscal year coming fairly soon too, as well.
Not gonna be much in there, but I'm pretty sure we have, but just to be on the safe
Of
side.
course, and again, that
Yeah,
full
John,
amount
if
may
I
not be needed.
remember right,
What's that?
if I remember right, we have stopped, for funding the lab, we stopped so that we had a decent amount of money left in the fund, just in case we did have some emergencies come up. Just based on, people that were coming back to us for extra funding and things, we had stopped with enough to give us, a good cushion. So I think we should have it in there.
No, I think we do have it. I think we're somewhere probably around 600,000, but just to, be on the safe side, I'm just being overcautious, I guess. So you made the motion to fund
The real number, by the way, is 186. That's what we definitely
Yeah.
need. It's the 50,000 is for whatever unknown that might be encountered below grade. That we don't know. So 186, if we can say that, you know, at least that, I think that's what we'll be looking for, so.
No, we should be fine, we just don't have that exact, but it's
Right.
well
Right.
above, I just, you
Yeah.
know. So, Rick made the motion, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call vote?
Joanne Bentley, yes?
Alexander Silva, yes?
John Brandt, yes?
Rick Mancini, yes.
Chris?
Kristen Cantara Oliveri, yes.
Okay. Alrighty.
Well,
So,
thank you.
Motion approved.
Certainly on behalf of the Board of Directors and the slightly over 1,000 members of the Historical Society, I very much appreciate that, so
Oh,
thank you.
you're welcome, it's a good project, and hopefully, so as soon as you. we'll go
Yeah,
from there.
I'll touch base with Sandy and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it
very
is,
much.
it's a good storage, good historic storage
Yeah.
facility. It does a great job.
It is coming along, and as I said, the amount of funding that has been coming in for projects is astounding.
Yeah, so it's an
Thank you.
amazing amount of support you've
Thanks.
received from the community as well, and
Yes.
so
Yes.
FAR is happy to help support its
Thank you.
service.
Thanks. Then, next we have Notre Dame Rectory sale. We approved last year, or no, this was, yeah, 2021, we approved this. New owners have since taken over, but nobody has contacted us on this property. It'd be a new applicant, so the details wouldn't hold them accountable for CPC grants. So I'd like to see a motion to rescind the grant or open for discussion.
Did we do this last meeting?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
No, we didn't. I don't remember this one at all.
We had it on the last one, but the last one we didn't have it on,
Okay.
so.
I don't remember.
I definitely would make a motion to rescind the existing grant as it is, as the owners are no longer, you know, responsible for that building, the original owner.
All righty. Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call vote?
Joanne Bentley, yes?
Alex Silva, yes?
John Brandt, yes?
Rick Mancini, yes.
Chris?
Kristen Cantara Oliveri, yes.
So that's 101,000 that will go back into our funds. Next, I think everyone got FY '25 eligibility packets. We had 14 projects submitted for a total of 3.9 million. I think we can hear these all at our next upcoming meeting. I don't think we have to break it down into 2 meetings. Eligibility is kind of cut and dry, whether you fall in between the 4 categories. This year, though, is going to be very challenging for us because we'll probably only have about 1.1 after we do our payouts for our bonding, because we're not getting any supplemental surplus money from the state. Even though they put in for 30 million bucks, that doesn't look like it's gonna come down our way. So normally we get an extra 700,000 to play with this year. That's off the table, so some of these projects might have to redo their money if they want to receive any, because we only have 1.1 out of 3.9, so. Any questions on the eligibility packets? Sandy?
I can send a letter out this week to notify all the applicants that they'll be on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay. I think in one meeting we can see the 14 of them. All right.
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
Because I wasn't on the board at this point last year, so do we just now take these, review everything, and then we come back with comments, or do we hear what they say and then we I just don't understand how it works for
What'll
the next
happen
part.
is we'll call them in and, Project B will come in front of us and, say that he's the Historical Society and he wants to redo the roof. That's historic preservation. That falls under the guidelines, we would say yes. Housing, they come in, they want to have affordable housing, it has to meet our 20% threshold to meet the requirements. If it's not, then it wouldn't be eligible. Like elevators, if your community housing is on the 3rd floor, why do you need an elevator? We don't need the fund, so things like that. Open space, you can't, it's basically, open space we'd save for the city. You can't build on it, recreate.
Conservation restrictions.
Yeah. So,
It's a hearing, so we'll take it, we'll review the packets, a couple of questions, and then when they're invited, we made it in the new plan kind of requirement that they have to show up for their application to move forward, so we can get the answers to the questions, and then we deem them eligible or not, and they move to the next phase and send the full
Okay.
application for review later on.
All right, thank you.
I'll forward you the chart. The chart will tell you each category what the eligibility requirements are.
yeah, if you want
Okay.
to.
So you will
Pass
probably
that down.
before the meeting, if they're eligible or not eligible, after looking at those projects. It's a pretty quick process for the eligible. They either need it or they don't.
Okay.
The applicants are invited to come. A lot of times, they don't really need to speak, because most of the projects, a lot of them have already met eligibility in previous years. So I'll send you the chart.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank you.
I just gave her one.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the 4 categories and what they can do and can't do and what we can fund, so if they fall in that, we can fund.
So with this time, Alex, what you said is they're required to come to the meeting?
Not eligibility. They're not required. A lot of them come anyway,
I
just in
don't-
case you have
Yeah.
questions.
So
I think we voted on it, but we didn't
Um,
have it out on this year's form, so.
Yeah, I don't think it made it.
it didn't make it on
Yeah,
this
didn't
year's
make it
form?
out.
Okay,
We
I was
want
just
that
wondering, like,
next year, we
how.
want it to
So
be.
they've already kind
yeah.
of filled out the application.
Okay,
I believe.
okay, at that
Because
point,
we were
so.
late getting our
The pack-
okay, so.
Got it, okay, all right.
Because some of them are self-explanatory and some aren't, so if it's, for the applicant, it's best for them to be here
In
because
case
you're
there's
asking for
questions
money,
and-
so,
Yeah.
you think you'd be here. to
Last year
answer
during,
questions.
during the funding applications, we were asking applicants to come in to answer questions, and that was where we kind of deemed them quasi-non-responsive
Mhm.
towards the end.
But, this is, from their point of view, when they come, say they're missing a letter from the Historical Commission, or we want something in their packet that taxes, or they have everything for us. And I said, I didn't know,
Yeah, because that's, when I joined the board last year, we
Yeah.
were at that point where we were reviewing that second
Yeah.
round, and people were being told, you need a letter, you need this, you don't have that, or
It's
stuff like that.
been that way for years, but sometimes people just tend to not look at the packet. So now we're trying to make it, give us the best packet.
Right.
And now we're
Usually.
not gonna, because especially now with funding being so limited, if they don't have all the paperwork, I figured you're not after the money, you give us what we need for us to make an appropriate vote, it makes it, easier, so.
Yeah, if I recall, we usually tell them at this eligibility hearing, the letters and stuff they need.
Here's what you need,
Yeah, so
okay.
Yeah.
It's a
All right,
chance to do that.
thank you.
Okay, next was the document review.
And then I never got the last of the changes for the funding application into Sandy, so I'm gonna have to make a motion to table that one to the next meeting,
Okay.
just so everyone knows.
Okay, so the,
John, do you want this back?
You can have it, I got another
I
one.
can keep it, thank you.
Yeah,
So I'll make that motion.
okay. So that's the only one we're gonna be, waiting on the change, right?
I think it's,
No, I included the guidelines that Alex made all the changes, and I made those changes, so if you wanna look at that and okay it. And then Alex sent me the eligibility application too with all the changes, I made all those changes, so I put those two in the packet.
I think there was the changes we discussed at the last meeting that weren't in those notes.
Oh, all right.
So I think that, like, application,
And I made all those changes.
and then I think the plan, the CPC plan was good.
Okay, so what I'll do is.
Actually, I have to check actually to see.
So if we take out of document review the eligibility, everything else is updated?
Was it?
This is the only thing that we didn't update on the documents.
And the funding application, I believe.
So I'll submit the guidelines and the eligibility to IT to update it on our webpage.
We should just table them all till next meeting.
Okay, so can I have a motion to table the documents till next meeting?
I'll make a motion to table the documents review until the next meeting.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, roll call vote.
Joanne Bentley, yes?
Alex Silva, yes.
John Brandt, yes.
Rick Mancini, yes.
Chris?
Kristen Cantara Oliveri, yes.
Okay. Then next is the CPC plan, which I think we're finishing
That would-
updating on that.
I honestly have to see I don't know if all the changes went through, because we talked about stuff at the annual meeting, so I just don't know.
Want to move that to next meeting too?
Yeah, can I have a motion to move that to the next meeting?
I'll make
I
that
think we're
motion.
about
Sure.
done, but yeah.
Yeah.
A second on that?
Second, I'll second that.
Okay, roll call vote.
Joanne Bentley, yes?
Alex Silva, yes.
John Brandt, yes.
Rick Mancini, yes.
Chris?
Kristen Cantara Oliveri, yes.
Okay. We did have two members put their resignation in, Richard Calderon, who was a mayor appointee, and Carolyn Alburn, city council appointment. I wish to thank them for their 2 and 3 years of service. Wish them the very best. Anyone out there, we are looking for 2 new members for the CPC board, so either contact the mayor or the city council office to put in a resume. We have admin salary. Our admin is Sandy Dennis. She doesn't fall under the city guidelines for, which I thought she did, for pay increases, things like that. So Sandy's been with us 9 years, Sandy? And we haven't bumped up her salary at all. And I was hoping for the board for a suggestion to see if we'd be willing to.
I mentioned, yeah, what's the motion you're looking for?
I was looking for, since she's going to be taking over the duties of taking the minutes, I was looking at just a minimum pay of $50 a month, so that's $600 for the year.
Oh, yeah, that's not an issue, yes.
So, can I have a motion for,
I'll definitely make that motion, sure,
Okay.
to increase the salary.
okay,
I'll second the motion.
roll call?
Joanne Bentley, yes?
Alex Silva, yes.
John Brandt, yes?
Rick Mancini, yes.
Chris?
Kristen Cantara Oliveri, yes.
All righty. Any new business? We had something, our coalition membership dues is, we pay it every year. That is $43.50. We do need a vote on that to pass. Can I have a motion to pay the dues, our annual dues?
I will make a motion that we pay our annual dues.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Joanne Bentley, yes?
Alex Silva, yes.
John Brandt, yes?
Rick Mancini, yes.
Chris?
Kristen Cantara Oliveri, yes.
All righty. We do have a new note on this that we're sending the check elsewhere, so we have to make sure City Hall has the new address and everything. We've moved into a bigger building with a bigger organization. Let's see, so can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second.
Roll call vote?
Joanne Bentley, yes?
Alex Silva, yes.
John Brandt, yes?
Rick Mancini, yes.
Chris?
Kristen Cantara Oliveri, yes.
All righty. Meeting adjourned.
Wow.
Thank you.